And welcome back to redheart.com as well as the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey, and you know what? I'd like to also welcome our friends back from allfreecrochet.com. Now, we've gone through a whole week already, week number 1 of doing the mystery adventure. This is the crochet mystery adventure where we're crocheting an item where we have no idea exactly what it is. When I say we, I mean you. So what we have right now, if you've been following us on our Facebooks for the last week, you've been noticing Mr. Potato Head with 2 pairs of eyes, and just like so. So this was clue number 1, where we have a project to be able to complete. Now I want to tell you right now, if you're on week number 2, don't accessorize the face beyond the eyes because you really don't know what this item is. So I haven't seen anything that is really striking me, but I just want to say don't put a mustache on it, just don't put eyeshadow on it. Leave it as is because you may be disappointed at the end of crocheting a whole new head. Now I also want to say, if you are following the mystery and all of a sudden you start realizing what you think it is, you can obviously change your project. No, there's no worries about that. You don't have to commit to the actual color right off the bat and stick with it. You can also change it. However, so welcome back to the studio. It's now time to do the crochet mystery adventure, and in this video today we are going to be making legs, just like so. We need 4 legs and we need 2 ears. So whatever we're doing has 4 legs and 2 ears. Hopefully that'll narrow it down for you. So what we're going to start off with is with the legs. You are going to need your fiber fill today only for the legs. The ears are not having anything on the inside. Also going to need a stitch marker again today as we rotate, and you will find that this works off really quickly as well. We're going to be working in continuous rounds so that you'll notice that we're going to go in circles and then we're going to suddenly just change color. You will see a color change within the project, but when it's actually onto your item you will not see this. It won't be that obvious. So that's another clue. When you're working on these projects today, I need you to leave an extra long tail on both of them because we're going to be using this to sew to the main character once completed. So without further ado, let's start working on the legs. So to begin the legs, we actually have to have 2 colors. For tutorial reasons, black never films very good. So I would choose black for myself. I might choose brown. I would choose a color that is a good representation of feet, paws, or hoofs, or whatever you really want to call them, because we have no idea exactly what this thing is. So you want to do a good representation of just the base of the leg. So for tutorial reasons, I'm going to use pink. You can use any colors that you wish, and what we want to do is that we need to chain 2. So this is how we're going to be doing a lot of the project as we've been doing. Just like the head, we are going to be going in a continuous circle and then circling around afterwards. So make sure you have your stitch marker available to you. So let's chain 2. Remember, this first one, that slip knot never counts as 1. So 1 and 2. And what we need to do then is just 6 single crochet second chain from the hook, which is the starting. So we're just going to go into the very first one and do 6 single crochet. So 1, and we have 2 and 3 and 4, 4, and then 5 and 6. So we are using Red Heart with Love, just so you're interested, if you're interested. So on the final one here, I want to put in the stitch marker so that I can be able to measure going in circles. So if you've been following the other tutorial, this is how I did it. So I just put in a stitch marker and I move it up throughout the project. I'm going to show you a cheating technique actually once we get the bottom of these feet or legs determined. I'm trying not to slip up on exactly what we're doing. So what we're going to do now is that we're just going to go in a continuous circle all the way around, so we're never going to slip stitch on this thing. So let's move up to round number 2. So in round number 2, we want to put 2 single crochets into each of the stitches, and there should be 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 6 is the last one that we have. Don't get confused by this middle area here. The first stitch is right there. So you might see this coming up. That's just normal. We just want to bypass that and go into the very first. So the trick is just to make sure you only have 6 going on. So we're going to put 2 single crochets around in each. So to verify this, because you want every leg to be the same, here's what I would do for you, is that you just put in 2 there. I would say that was 1, and then put in 2 here, say that's 2, put in 2 again, this is 3, and then 4 and 5, and look at that, we're on the stitch marker, so that means that we're on the 6th one, which is what we want. So put in 2 there, and then once you have that second one in there, move that stitch marker up to the last stitch you just did, and that'll complete off that round. It is so critical. If you're off by 1 stitch with these legs, it's very, very obvious because the item is so small. So let's move along to round number 3 next. So round number 3 is really simple. We're going to start off with the first stitch being a single crochet. So we're still growing the leg so to be thicker, and so the next one is going to have 2 single crochets. So we're going to repeat that all the way around. So the next one is 1 by itself, so single crochet. The next one will have 2. Okay, so 1, and this one will have 2, and continue to do this. You will find that the legs will work up really quickly. So if you're thinking, whoa, you know, this is a lot of work, yeah, you will find once you get beyond this growing stage, it really does work out pretty fast. So if your math is done right, the last stitch marker will always have the 2 into it. And so I just put in 2 there, so this is going to be 1, and so this is the stitch marker, it'll have 2, and it just naturally works out like that. So that gives you an indication. If you ended up there and you only had to put 1 there because there's 2 in the stitch beside it, you know that you've messed up somewhere, so you gotta fix it. So move up that stitch marker. Okay, round number 4 is just a simple, and this is when we stop growing the project, and we're just gonna put 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around to the stitch marker. So we're just gonna blaze our way around this circle, and now the project is gonna start to bowl in because this is the bottom of the legs, and the legs are a representation of this creature. It's not really an accurate representation, I should say. It's more of a whimsical representation, if that helps you. If any clues? I'm trying to drop clues without being so obvious. Okay, so we're all the way back around. That completes, just got 1 more to do, 2 more to do. 1, okay, and once we get to the stitch marker, please move that stitch marker up 1 again. And what we want to do for round number 5 is that we want to rotate 1 more time. So continue to do that, and we're going to meet back up on the stitch marker, and I'm going to show you what to do because we're now done the bottom part of the leg. That's how fast it goes. So we've been crocheting like this in a circle. I want you to flip it like this. Okay, so we're going to continue to go, but this time we're going to go around the outside. We don't want to go in the bowl shape and come around. It's just easier to do this way, and this is the side that should be out anyway. So I've got as far as the stitch marker. I have actually a stitch before because I want to change the color. So we're just going to automatically start to single crochet into the next stitch, but I want you to bring on the next color instead. So instead of finishing the stitch, I want you just to loop on, okay, another color, which is the color of the main leg itself. Just loop it in, and what I want you to do is just grab some scissors and cut that string, the old pink, out, and I want you to grab the new color and the stragglers of the old colors. Okay, make sure you don't get your stitch marker confused in that, and I want you to start single crocheting in a circle again. And always the first part of this is always a pain, so you just gotta pull things tight just to bring everything back in balance. But when you do it, you make sure it's on top of the line so you can vary the color change just like you see. So in the very beginning I showed you how we're continue to go around and all of a sudden we change the color. That's exactly how it goes. So what I want you to do is that I want you to continue to go around in a circle 7, or from rounds number 6 all the way through 17. So here's my tip on being able to speed through this process without having to move the stitch marker. You can clearly count on how many rows you are doing here. So what I want you to do is rounds number 6 all the way through 17, and I want you to fasten off. And you don't have to move the stitch marker because you can literally see and count your rows going up. So save yourself some time, go through this and continue to go, single crochet all the way around till you get to round number 17, and then at the end I want you just to fasten off, and I want you to leave an extra long tail, and then I want you to stuff the leg and put the leg in your box, and then do 3 more legs. Now the character will be sitting on top of these legs, so you want to make sure that they're relatively firm, but not to the point where their skin is exploding with fluff. Sorry. Yeah, so you just, because I've seen some heads already on the Facebook where they're overstuffed. It's fun. So anyway, this is going to be using this. So when this character is standing, they will be using their legs. So you want the legs to be so that it's not too wobbly, that it's going to be all over the place. Like a hippopotamus on skates. So there you go. So that will conclude off your legs. Let's move on to your ears next. So let's begin to do the ears. The ears are so simple and they are flexible. They are moldable when it comes to being on your creature. At the end of this, you can actually embroider inside the ear if you wanted to have more color. Now in the original pattern, the ears are the same color as the body, but you can opt to change it. In my case, I decided to give the ears a different color other than the body just because I can. So I'm just using a teal here, and it's going to be a really amazing idea. So grab your stitch marker and your yarn and let's get hooking. So let's begin to do your ears. We are going to start off with a slip knot and we are going to insert a hook. So let's begin. We are going to chain 2. So this is very beginning. Most of this pattern starts off the same way, which is why I love it. So 1 and 2. So it's chain 2, and now we're going to put 6 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Where have we seen that before? On the legs? That's what I'm talking about. Have you seen it on the head? Will you see it again? Oh yeah. So we're gonna do 6 single crochet going around. Oh my word. I think this yarn, all these yarn fumes are making me crazy over time. Or it's definitely the women on Facebook, what can I say. So we have 6 single crochet going all the way around. I want you to put in a stitch marker again, just like this. These ears are really fun. You know what, you'll be able to use this design on other stuff. If you're ever working on other projects, you'll really love them. So let's put in our stitch marker on the 6th one before we begin and move up to round number 2. And I'm sorry, I got the giggles. So let's begin round number 2 next. So we're back again, and let's get working on this item here. And what we're going to do is that we're going in a continuous round, and there will be 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This whole doohickey area over here, don't worry about that. That's part of the starting point. So a lot of people, that's where a lot of people mess up. That's why I love these continuous rounds. Once you get beyond this, everything is perfect. So it says single crochet into the next 2 single crochets. So I'm gonna single crochet, and this is how I do it, is that you want to make sure you end up back at the stitch marker anyway. So and I've already counted it anyway. So we're going to do 1 single crochet. I'm gonna pull it. See how loose I did that? I'm gonna make it sure it's tighter. Just your tension is really important. This is an item that will be part of the characteristic of it. So 1 single crochet in the first. The next one is a single crochet, and then the next one is 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and so we only have 3 stitches left. So what do you think it is? It's 1 single crochet, the next one is 1 single crochet, and then the stitch marker is going to be 2 single crochets in there. So 1 and 2, and what I want you to do is that I want you to move the stitch marker up. So let's move the stitch marker up to capture that last stitch so that we know exactly where it is. Okay, round number 3 is really easy. All we're just going to do is start in the very next stitch and single crochet all the way around. And what you're doing is that you're looking at the right side. I want you to flip it so that the middle comes towards your face, because that is the right side and that's the side that will be visual. And you should flip it now, because this project is really going to start to take a dramatic turn, because it doesn't waste any time of growing, because the way that the ear is shaped. So for round number 3 we are just single crocheting yourself all the way around. Not a lot of stitches. The ears again work up really quick. For people that are making multiple projects, you will love that concept. And again, once you get to the stitch marker, just crochet over it and then move up your stitch marker, so that you can keep count of exactly where you are. So let's move up to round number 4, and round number 4 is really easy again, just being able to identify your stitches. And what we're just gonna do is a single crochet into the next single crochet, and then 2 single crochets into the next. Okay, so we're just gonna start off with the first one. Okay, so we're just gonna go there. So 1 single crochet in there, and then the next one is going to be 2 single crochets. and we're going to repeat that all the way around. So that means that the next one is by itself, 1 single crochet, and the next one has 2. Okay, and so then we have 1 by itself, and then the next one is 2. And just like the legs, when we ended up with the stitch marker, the last one should always have the 2 on there. So and that happens to be right. And once you get there, please move up your stitch marker once again. Let's begin round number 5. Round number 5 is really simple, just a single crochet all the way around the ear. Okay, round number 6 is identical to round number 4, and what we're just going to do is start off with a single crochet, and then the next one will be 2 single crochets into the same one. So again, we're growing this evenly. So 1 single crochet, the next one will be 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and it'll be 2, 1 single crochet, next one is 2, 1 single crochet, next one is 2, and it works out that you got 1 single crochet and then the stitch marker, and again that ends up being the one you have to put 2 in, which means that we are right. So that completes off round number 6. Move up your stitch marker again. Okay, rounds number 7 to 9 are really simple. All we're just going to do is start off and just do single crochet, and we're going to single crochet around and around from rounds number 7 to 9. Please do that now, and when we come back I'll have that done, and every time of course you pass the stitch marker, make sure you move it up and count it as a round. So rounds number 7, 8, and 9, so 3 rotations, and then we'll meet back up and start making this so that it comes in and narrow to be able to attach to your creature. So rounds number 7, 8, and 9 are now complete, and now it's time for round number 10, and this is where we're going to start bringing the ear back into a pointing kind of shape on the other side. It's not going to end up in a point, but it's just for that's what I'm telling you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off in the front first one, and we're going to do 2 together all the way around. So single crochet 2 together. So the first one, so we're just going to, how do you do that is this, you go into the first stitch, pull the yarn through, and then go into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, and you have 3 loops on your hook. Just grab the yarn and pull through all 3, and those 2 stitches just became 1. So we're going to go to the next one, go to the next one, and put 2 together just like this, and do that all the way around on this round. So essentially you're just cutting your whole rotation by half, because every 2 is becoming 1, and you will notice a sharp change in your ear or your character's ear, and this is really an interesting idea. So you can see that these ears are really no problem. There's only 2 of them to make, and we still have one, oops, that was a single crochet. We still have one more revolution to do after this, and just bringing it, so if you've done it right, the last stitch marker here is the very last 2 together, and move up your stitch marker one more time. This will be the last time you do it for this particular ear. You'll have to do 2 of these, and so let's finish off with round number 11. So for round number 11, let's begin. We are just going to single crochet just once all the way around, and now that you've cut everything in half, you will notice that it's a very quick revolution. They don't recommend in the pattern to stuff this ear, and if you do stuff it, you'll lose the opportunity to be able to shape the ear afterward, or to have the ear go on in a certain way. So don't stuff your ear. You can always make decisions later if you wish, but what I want you to do is once you get to the end, this is the very end, I want you just to fasten off, and I want you to leave an extra long tail because we're going to use that to sew in afterward to your creature. And so just grab the yarn and just kind of pull through like this, and pull out your stitch marker like that, and voila. So you can actually put your hand or finger inside of the ear, but that's what makes it moldable and shapeable. So the question is that, and you're not to attach your ear or anything yet, but where do you put the ear? Do you put it to the side? Do you put it so that it's hanging down? Do you put it so it's up like this? What other ways can you do ears or like that? So that's it for this week. You'll have to join me next week as we have more free ideas and another mystery. Next week is going to be a little more interesting because we're going to do some stuff that I think some of you are going to clue into what we're doing, or I'm going to throw you off the track just a little bit more. So if you're seeing Mr. Potato Heads all over the internet right now, in the next week or so, you're going to see Mr. Potato Head's going to have some legs. But again, we're not going to sew anything together or ears until we get to the final video, because you don't exactly know where this is, because that's all I'll say for this week. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of redheart.com, allfreecrochet.com, as well as thecrochetcrowd.com. We'll see you.